Okay, so today we're diving deep into something pretty universal, I think. It's based on all this research you pulled together on, well, psychological avoidance and performance anxiety.
Yeah, we're talking about that feeling, that weight, the need to be absolutely flawless.
Ugh, yes. That little voice inside your head, the one that insists you rewrite something for the 10th time, even when it's, honestly, probably fine.
Or tells you, nope, don't say anything yet. You might mess up the grammar. It's that internal self-sabotage. It feels like you're being diligent, but really.
Yeah, you're just stuck. And that's what we're calling the perfection trap. It's this idea that the fear of making a mistake, it just becomes overwhelming.
Right, it leads to this kind of paralysis. Or, maybe worse, you get really busy doing nothing that actually matters, polishing things.
Exactly. You're polishing while everyone else is actually, moving forward. You feel busy, but you're not making real progress.
So our mission today is really to unpack that, to look at the psychology behind it, and maybe, just maybe, help you shift your perspective a bit.
Like, what if making a mistake isn't failure?
Exactly. What if it's just proof? Proof you're actually trying. You're out there doing something, growing.
I definitely want to unpack this with some real stories, because I fell right into this trap myself years ago, hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was prepping for this huge presentation, high stakes, former job, and I got completely obsessed with making it perfect. Every single slide, every word.
Okay, so what did that look like? Was it actual useful prep, or was it more like anxiety showing up as effort?
Oh, it was pure anxiety, total busy work. I mean, hours spent tweaking fonts, agonizing over tiny word choices, rehearsing the intro over and over and over. I told myself it was preparation, right? But really, I was just trying to avoid any possible criticism. Like, if it was technically perfect, no one could fault it. Zero defect thinking.
And the cost of that. I mean, that obsessive focus, it just drained your energy.
Yeah.
And ironically, it probably undermined the very confidence you were trying to build.
Yeah, totally. By the time I actually gave the presentation, I was wiped. Just exhausted and so focused on not messing up, on being technically flawless.
You lost the connection.
Completely. It was stiff, robotic, perfect execution maybe, but zero authenticity, zero human connection, which was the whole point. The trap basically killed my passion for the project.
That sacrifice. That's a classic sign of the trap. I felt it so strongly when I moved to Spain, trying to learn Spanish.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, I knew the grammar rules, on paper.
Yeah.
But actually speaking, terrifying. My inner critic just went into overdrive.
That negative voice.
Yeah, fueled by all those cognitive biases we read about. It was just screaming at me constantly.
Your accent is terrible. You used the wrong gender for that noun. You sound like an idiot.
And that voice, it often echoes people from our past, doesn't it? Like a critical teacher or maybe high expectations from parents. So what happened? What did that fear make you do in Spain?
Complete invisibility. That was the consequence. I just clammed up in group conversations every time.
You stayed silent, totally silent, nodding, smiling, maybe a one-word answer here and there, but never actually contributing. I chose feeling safe over actually communicating.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was there to communicate, to connect, and I just didn't because I was so afraid of looking imperfect. It was a massive failure of nerve, all driven by that fear.
And what's so wild, based on the research you shared, is that the problem usually isn't the mistake itself, it's the fear of the mistake. And that fear gets blown way out of proportion by external stuff.
Exactly. We're swimming in these messages of curated perfection all the time.
Yeah.
Social media is the obvious one, right? You only see the perfect launch, the perfect vacation photo, the perfect life.
The highlight reel.
Yeah, the highlight reel. And psychologists call it the availability heuristic. We see perfect outcomes so often we start to think imperfection is weird or like a personal failing.
So we're listening to all these outside voices, social media, old criticisms, maybe what we think our boss expects. And it starts to drown out our own voice, our own inner compass, that gut feeling, the thing that tells you what you actually want.
Right. And if you're always listening to those external directions, you ignore your own compass. You end up on a path that looks good, looks safe, checks all the boxes.
But it feels empty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good because it's not actually your path.
Okay, but let's push on that a bit. Because sometimes in the real world, especially at work, you do have to follow external directions, right? Sometimes mistakes cost real money, or, making your boss happy is part of the job.
That's a really important point.
How do you balance listening to that inner voice with, the practical need to succeed based on what other people expect?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think the key is realizing the trap isn't really about producing low-quality work. It's about timing and motive. It's about waiting for absolute certainty before you act.
Which never comes.
Exactly. Certainty is a myth. For me, the big breakthrough in Spain came from a friend. She just said something so simple, so obvious in retrospect. She said, "We don't care if it's wrong. We just want to hear what you have to say."
Wow, that changes everything.
It totally reframed.
Oh,
Suddenly, the focus wasn't on being flawless. It was on connecting, sharing ideas.
connection over perfection.
Yes. And that night, I just decided, okay, screw it. I'm just going to talk. And yeah, I stumbled. I messed up verbs left and right.
Yeah.
Definitely used the wrong gender for things.
But you were talking.
But I was talking and connecting for the first time, really. Making that choice, prioritizing communication over perfection, it led to actual immediate progress. It felt so much better.
Okay, so that's the big insight. Connection, iteration, just doing it matters more than waiting for flawless. But how does someone listening right now actually put that into practice? Saying done is better than perfect can feel a bit trite, you know? Especially when the stakes feel high.
It can. Yeah, it sounds good, but it's hard to internalize. We have to make it actionable. Done is better than perfect. Isn't about shipping garbage. It's about shifting where you put your focus. Not on the perfect outcome, but on just starting.
Getting the ball rolling.
Precisely. The best antidote to that paralysis is setting tiny goals. Really, really tiny. Psychologists call it goal segmentation.
Right, like you can't train for a marathon by just staring at the finish line 26 miles away. You focus on the next step, the next mile.
Exactly. So instead of write a perfect revolutionary report, which is terrifying,
Yeah, instant paralysis.
the goal becomes write a first draft. Just get something down, even if it's messy. Or, thinking about my Spain example, have one conversation today where I ask one question. You break it down until that first step feels almost easy. It takes barely any mental effort.
And you can even make those tiny steps easier using some behavioral tricks, right? Like temptation bundling.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Like if you absolutely dread writing that first draft of a difficult email,
You pair it with something you love. Only let yourself listen to your absolute favorite pump-up playlist while you're tackling that awful draft. Bundle the pain with pleasure.
yeah. And that tiny win, getting that draft done, even if it's rough, it builds momentum.
Yes. Momentum is key. It's the energy that keeps you going. And any progress, seriously, no matter how small, it builds confidence. So if you're feeling stuck right now,
Don't wait for some huge lightning bolt of inspiration.
no, just find one small, easy win today. Even just deciding to listen to this deep dive, that's a win. You're seeking solutions, that counts.
And while you're taking these small actions, you need to keep checking in with that inner compass, right?
Constantly, you have to ask yourself, like really ask, why am I doing this? Is it because I genuinely want to, or because I feel like I'm supposed to meet some external expectation?
Ooh, that's a tough question sometimes.
It is. But if the answer is mostly supposed to, you're likely heading back towards the trap. And this brings up self-kindness. It's crucial.
Lowering the bar a little.
Yeah, just accepting that perfection is literally impossible. So the kindest thing you can possibly do for yourself is to ease up on the expectations. Except you're a human in progress. You're not a finished product.
It's okay to be learning. It's okay to be messy.
Totally. And the acceptance. It's way easier when you're not alone in it. The research really highlights how important social support is.
Talking about it helps.
Massively. Sharing the struggle with someone, a friend, a mentor. Anywhere you trust it creates accountability, sure, but more importantly, it breaks the isolation. The inner critic thrives in silence.
I know when I was freaking out about that presentation, just talking to a friend about how stressed I was, it helped so much. She didn't try to fix it, she just listened.
Exactly. Being seen, being heard, it makes you realize you're not uniquely broken for feeling this way. It normalizes the struggle.
So seriously, if you're listening and this pressure feels overwhelming, reach out. Talk to someone.
Connection really is the antidote. And then when you do take that small step, that tiny act of courage, you gotta acknowledge it.
Celebrate it.
Yeah. But maybe not like huge fireworks. We wait too long for the big finish line to feel proud. We need to celebrate the milestones along the way.
What counts as a milestone then?
The small stuff.
Yeah.
The quiet moment where you just kept going, even though it felt hard. The moment you chose to speak up, even if your voice shook. The fact that you tried again after messing up, that's the victory. Persistence is a milestone.
Returning to the work after a setback.
That's huge. To reinforce this, I started keeping this thing I call a lost and found journal.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, on one side of the page, I jot down moments where I felt totally stuck or confused or like the perfection trap had me beat,
Yeah.
really lost.
Okay.
And then on the facing page, I write down what I actually learned or found during that specific difficult time.
That sounds incredibly powerful to look back on.
It really is. Because I started realizing I wasn't actually lost in those moments. I was just growing. The feeling of being lost was just the friction of learning something new, of being incompetent for a bit on the way to getting better.
So the detours, the wrong turns, they weren't failures.
They were proof I was on a journey. They were part of the process.
That's such a critical shift. The messy parts aren't bugs, they're features. They make you wiser, more human.
Absolutely. So as we kind of wrap up here, the goal isn't to magically eliminate mistakes. It's to learn faster by being willing to try, to iterate, to put things out there before they're perfect. Your effort, your willingness to try, that's often more valuable than the final polished outcome.
Okay, so here's our final thought for you. Building on that lost and found journal idea, we want you to think back, maybe just sometime this past week, when you felt stuck or frozen by that need to be perfect.
Just take a moment, maybe close your eyes, take a breath, and ask yourself this one question.
What did I find there?
In that moment of struggle, what showed up? Was it patience? Do you find a bit more resilience than you thought you had?
Maybe you found the courage just to start again tomorrow. Or maybe you reached out and found a friend was there to listen.
Whatever it was that you found in that difficulty.
Yeah.
Celebrate that. Not necessarily in a big way.
Yeah.
Just with some quiet kindness towards yourself.
Recognizing that you're a human in progress and that that's not just okay, it's actually enough. That realization, that might be the biggest breakthrough of all.